This podcast is part of the Podcast Arcade Network.
Welcome to episode 21 of Paranormal Dads. I'm your co-host, Andy.
I'm Eddie.
I'm Pat.
Join us as we go in search of the world's monsters, myths, and mysteries right here on Paranormal Dads. We're back.
Yes.
And
yes.
As a whole unit.
The three amigos.
So excited.
We got all the starters here.
Oh, man.
And it's been a long time, man. For one reason or another, one of us has been out, and but we're back. We're stoked. We're pumped. We have one locked and loaded for you. Episode 20. What'd you say? Episode 21.
We can drink.
We can drink now.
We legal. We are here to paranormal pump you up.
As I have my sparkling water here.
Ooh. Yeah, Andy's back. We're all in the same room. It's been a good clip. It's glad to see all of our faces at the same time.
I'm very excited to be back. I just rushed into the room. I came from taking my daughter's classes at high school.
Yeah.
My wife and I had to go through her school schedule. She wasn't there. It was just us.
Right.
So we're walking around the building, did the entire...
Followed her path. I don't know how those kids do it. It's a huge school. And, I'm walking down the hall. Some jerk dad knocks my phone out of my hand. Oh, nice.
Kicks it down the hall.
What?
Another one takes a slushie and dumps it over my head.
Pushes you into a locker.
Oh, man. It was high school all over again. I was just like, oh, my God.
I'll see you at the
But they
bike
start
ride.
school next week. It's killing me. I feel for them.
Yeah.
But I think they're ready to go back, though.
How dare they interfere with our podcasting evening, though? Don't they know that our
and so
podcasting...
I had to rush over here. I grabbed a pizza, ran over here. It's like, okay, let's do some podcasting.
Yeah, we're making plans here, kids.
Yeah,
You gotta-
podcasting. Jeez,
I'm
the
getting
nerve.
slushy all over Eddie's couch.
It's okay. That couch has seen worse than that.
That makes me nervous. Should I get up?
Don't put a black light on that couch. It is nearing the end of summer, which is the beginning of fall. And it's super exciting for us as paranormal enthusiasts because it's kind of like the time where things begin to crackle and get weird.
Yeah, definitely. The Halloween season kind of brings a lot of this stuff to light.
Yes.
And we're looking forward to some fun things in the coming months, that's for sure.
Can't wait. And the weather just gets nice, man. But yeah, that's our time of year. That's our prime season, man. We're like Santa Claus at Christmas come
dude.
Halloween.
Yeah, perfect time of year.
And we're going to have some special episodes coming up here in the coming months in terms of going to some interesting locations to record, having on some unique guests to share stories. And that's just bonus because just between the three of us, we have some good stuff for you tonight. So that being said, should we jump right into recent sightings?
Oh.
Let's do some recent sightings. Okay, so the story today, we're going to have a ghost story here.
Ooh.
We've got a restaurant in San Antonio, Texas. Anybody ever been to San Antonio?
I've left my heart in Texas.
So this is called the On Live Hall of Fame Cafe. And what this is a little mom and pop type shop, little restaurant. And it features they call it kind of a walk of fame on the floor, kind of made out of the tiles. They've got stars on the floor, kind of like the Hollywood Walk of Fame or whatever. I believe it's a tribute to musicians that have come through the place.
Oh, wow.
Right? So they must be real into music. But anyway, they've got, they take great pride in their walk of fame. So they've got kind of like barrier tape. They've got some posts set up and some barrier tape. So you're not walking on the stars. They want to show some respect.
So it's almost like a cemetery. Don't walk on the...
Right.
On the people.
The floor of fame.
Show them stars some respect.
So they've got this barrier tape there, and they noticed one morning they came in, and the barrier tape, all the barriers are knocked down, laying on the ground. I thought, well, that's kind of weird. So they were thinking, okay, what kind of a critter is getting in here and knocking down our posts?
Disrespecting the barrier.
So, they're kind of looking around the restaurant, make sure there's no place like a raccoon or something could be getting in. And didn't think too much more of it. They set the barriers back up. The next morning they come back in. They're all laying on the floor again. And so the next thing they do is, well, let's go look at the tape. They've got a video camera in the store, and so they can go and look and see what happened. On the video camera, which is posted online, if just do a search for On Live Hall of Fame Cafe. It's you can see the barrier tape post standing there, and then you see an image come in, and it's very weird. It's almost like a translucent figure hits one of the posts, and all the posts go crashing to the ground.
Oh my.
And it's kind of hard to see in the video, but they said looking at it up close, it looks more like a child, like a 4-year-old kid did it.
Okay.
But they also mentioned that there was an adult present with the child. And so this really kind of freaked these people out. They don't want ghosts in their restaurant. They shut the place down for like a few days because they didn't want to go back in the building. They don't want anything to do with ghosts. It was a problem for them. So they shut the restaurant down. Finally, I think it was like it happened on a Wednesday, Thursday kind of a thing. They shut it down Friday and over the weekend. And they brought in a psychic who kind of checked the place out for them. And he sensed there was like a 4-year-old boy named Peter. And he was also accompanied by 5 other spirits. And so,
dang, Peter has an entourage.
Yeah, he was a friendly ghost, and so that was good enough for these people to want to reopen their business.
Okay.
So Monday morning they open it back up, and they kind of changed the menu up a little bit. They have ghost themed ice cream floats, and some other special menu items, kind of relating to ghosts. So kind of paying tribute to the people who are
haunting
with them.
There. Nice.
That's a good marketing twist there. They must have been pretty serious, though. I mean, if they closed down over a weekend, they must have lost a lot of money. So they must have really thought they had something there.
I think there's a video, and the husband, you can actually see him watch the video, and he turns and he runs out of the building.
Wow.
He wanted nothing to do with it.
He's like, that's it.
And I think it was the husband. Maybe it was another employee. I'm not sure.
A male employee.
But this guy went running out of the building. He wanted nothing to do with it.
I love that.
So if you're ever down in San Antonio, want to check out the On Live Hall of Fame Cafe, go have a ghost float and say hi to Peter.
I'm thinking we need to make a road trip and go get a goblin burger or something there, right?
Could be the On Live or the On After Live.
Yeah,
do it again. I got a thing. I got a gift. That is such a cool idea too. Like, hey, we have a thing. Instead of chasing it down and trying to agitate them or get rid of them, they're just embracing them as a whole thing.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun.
It is.
Do they keep the video? Have they had the video up for people to be able to watch?
Oh, yeah. It's a number of news stations in San Antonio have posted it on their websites. And I think if you find the website for the restaurant, they also have links there. They've got it out on YouTube, so you can go check it out. So that name again was the On Live Hall of Fame Cafe.
On Dead.
There
Cafe.
it is. That's a better joke. That's a better joke.
Just trying to steal your thunder, dude.
that was a better joke. I dig it. I like that idea of maybe doing like a haunted restaurant tour. That'd be kind of fun.
And we know there's some around here too in Omaha. Andy mentioned one time. Where was that? It was like on your way down to Iowa or but near the South Omaha Bridge, wasn't it?
Isn't it the one that had like the gift shop
with all the dolls
doll in it?
Yeah, they have all sorts of stuff nowadays. I can't remember exactly which one we were talking about, but yeah. I mean, but it's one of those things where credit to that business for just rolling with it. They were probably busier the next week because of it.
Yeah, they've even opened it up to where paranormal groups can come in, spend the night, and things like that. So
there you go.
Make the most of your visitors.
You can get your jalapeno poppers and get the Dickens scared out of you at the same time.
It's a win-win.
Win-win.
That's a great recent sightings thing, Pat. Thanks, Pat.
It's time for pop, culture, and the paranormal.
Welcome to Pop Culture and Paranormal. I'm Buford T. Squirrel, and I put Eddie out of the room.
You just couldn't.
It's my turn, fools.
Get out of here, Buford.
No.
This is my segment. It's my turn.
Buford's got a voice now.
You guys are hacks.
You just couldn't help yourself, could you?
I couldn't. I apologize. That may or may not happen ever again.
Yes.
we will see how people feel about that.
By the way, that was our one of our many mascots, a taxidermied squirrel.
Yes.
Buford T. Squirrel.
Yep. He's seen some things.
I like it that you just occasionally pet him during the show.
I do. I
You
give him a
do.
little stroke.
It's kind of funny and kind of creepy.
Kind of comforting him and let him know he's loved.
Exactly. Like, I don't know where he's at. I said he's moving really slow. He's not taxidermied.
Well, hey, this is a paranormal show. We can be as weird as we want. We can have a taxidermied crow. We can have a skull on the table.
I was going to say, when you have a paranormal themed podcast with your closest friends, you're going to have some weirdness.
Yeah, it's allowed.
the taxidermied squirrel being one of those things.
Yes.
So on this segment of pop culture and the paranormal, I was inspired. I was hit. Lightning hit my brain. I wanted to get into this wormhole of paranormal cartoons, like strictly paranormal cartoons.
Did the idea come to you when you were on the toilet?
It did. I fell and hit my head on the sink. I did not think of the flux capacitor, but I did get hit with this idea of there are specific animated shows that are geared around the paranormal. Everything from but there was 2 Ghostbusters cartoons when Andy and I were kids. Pat, you were a teenager driving around in your car with your mullet and your jean jacket and listening to Rick Springfield.
I resemble that.
Exactly. But there was 2 Ghostbusters cartoons. There was this Monsters. There was this Universal Monsters cartoon. The classic. There was Scooby-Doo. And even as you dig further back, there's just this reoccurring theme of strictly paranormal themed cartoons.
Right.
Not so much paranormal specials, but cartoons whose theme centered around something that was, otherworldly. And so I wanted to start going as far back as I could. What was the earliest iteration of paranormal cartoons? And it's still kind of up for grabs. I did enough research that I found what I think is one of the earliest iterations. I don't feel confident in saying this is the definitive first ever paranormal cartoon. The thing about this type of art is that it really depends on where you draw the line on animated stuff, because there's those old clicky wheels you can look through the window and some guy's playing the piano in the background in a church. Oh, Billy, be careful of the ghost, and then some old man turning a crank.
Right.
But so it just depends on what you want to how far back you go. I was looking at paranormal art. And it depends on where you go with that too. There's paintings of ghosts, and some people think that there's cave paintings of ghosts and aliens and stuff like that. So
Encrypted,
exactly.
All kinds of stuff.
So it depends on where you want to draw the line at stories that are maybe inspired by real things, but are strictly meant to be entertainment stuff. So for me, I wanted to draw the line at cartoons. I figured it was safe and kind of something we could all easily identify and go, that's a cartoon. I know what a cartoon is. That's a cartoon.
What'd you find?
I found, that was a good buildup, wasn't it? So we're all familiar with the character, or at least most of us are familiar with the character Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Right.
If you're not familiar, where have you been? But Casper,
Think Richie Rich.
Rich
dead and a ghost.
is a dead little boy. Oh, how happy. He's a little boy ghost. And he's friendly. And that's the big thing, is unlike other ghosts, the whole hook of the story is that other ghosts enjoy scaring people. He doesn't like scaring people. He enjoys being friendly to people. And so that's kind of the entire thing behind this character. But the funny part about this was he was not a character initially when the cartoon that features him was created. So it's called, this cartoon was done in 1940, specifically, Pat, you'll be proud of me, November 16th, 1945.
That's my boy.
Premiered by, and I love how studios named themselves back then. There wasn't a lot of like thought put into things. Literally produced by Famous Studios.
We want to be famous. Let's be Famous Studios.
Zeke, I want to be famous. Why do I name this here company? I don't know, Famous Studios. You're a genius. The Friendly Ghost was distributed by, created by Famous Studios and distributed by Paramount. And so November 16, 1945. And I encourage, it's on YouTube, and we'll put a link on this under the show notes on our page. But the cartoon is it's just under 10 minutes long, and it is very much a product of its time. And there's nothing like really racy in it, like, oh, that's what that wouldn't. There is one thing, and this is spoilery, I guess. So for people who haven't watched it yet, if you don't want to, but it's also like 90 years old, so
right.
So it's okay. You can. The point behind the cartoon is that there's these ghosts at night. And this house is infested with ghosts. There's hundreds of ghosts in this house, and at night they all leave the house and go into the city and haunt and scare people, and that's how they get their jollies.
And then they come back home.
And they come back to the house after they put in a
kind of a frat house for ghosts.
Exactly. It's a frat house for ghosts. And Casper's the only one that doesn't like scaring people. So he's essentially shunned and ignored by the other ghosts. They don't really get into him being bullied by them. They just kind of ignore him. So he goes around trying to make friends with different barnyard animals, and they all freak out. That's about the extent of it. Tries to say hi to a rooster. He gets scared. Does the same thing to some chickens. It's just ad nauseum. He's scaring everybody. And the one part about this cartoon that I was like, man, cartoons back then were just dark. Like, people didn't think about what they were making. Casper becomes so despondent that he can't make a friend that he goes over to some railroad tracks and lays on them.
Casper, come on.
Isn't that kind of redundant? So he's already dead.
I know. I was like, man, they are just throwing out suicide like it's no big deal. And he lays on the tracks, and a train rolls over him, and obviously nothing happens because he's a ghost. And he sits up and like pats himself, realizing that he's not mortal, and starts to cry. Like, I know. It's Andy's face was so good.
Do they have antidepressants back then to hand out for viewers?
Casper, the antidepressant taking ghost. So then during this episode, he is happened upon by a little boy and a little girl. They're brother and sister, and they're playing, and they are unafraid of him. They think he's a cool friend, and they play with him, and they bring him home to meet their mother, and the mother is scared of him. And right then and there, this guy shows up on the front door, big bowler hat, big mustache, and he says, their mortgage payment is due. And then he sees the ghost, he sees Casper, and he loses his mind. Like, Casper doesn't even do anything. This poor kid. I do feel bad for him. Like, my empathy was shot through the roof. I'm like, he's just sitting there, hey, mister. Like, the guy loses his mind. He's like, forget the mortgage. This house is haunted. Tears the mortgage up and then runs away at speed.
Nice.
And so apparently now the house is free because he tore the mortgage. Like, is that how banking works?
I think
back
that
then?
works.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's how it works.
And so the mom, now happy that they weren't going to be evicted, adopts Casper, and he's now one of their family. And he shows him skipping off to school with the kids. He's going to go to school with the children. And
hey, lady, how many kids do you have? Oh, a boy, a girl, and a ghost.
2.5.
All American blended family.
Didn't they say for a while 2.5 children was the average? Like, he counts. But yeah, there was a part in it where I was like, they are acknowledging suicide in this, and it's very interesting. It was very funny. But I thought it was funny how you had friendly ghost in your segment, Pat, and my segment too has a friendly ghost. That's kind of the theme.
Well, that theme's going to get completely obliterated with my main mystery, by the way, because there's no sunshine. There's no sunshine and rainbows in what I'm about to talk about.
Oh, good. The yin yang of this episode. But fair warning for people, I will probably be revisiting this paranormal cartoon series because I kind of want to talk about some more of them.
Yeah, I know there's some good ones out there.
There's great ones, yeah. Everything from like the Universal monsters, they went through a brief phase of animating them.
Sure.
To Scooby-Doo, which I know is probably one you're thinking of. Do you have one in mind that you're thinking of?
Actually, yeah, I'm thinking Disney.
Yes.
That haunted. It's like Mickey's a ghost hunter kind of
Yes,
a thing.
yes.
Oh, such a good little.
I mean, Fantasia in and of itself has a lot of paranormal elements to it.
Yeah, Disney went through kind of a dark phase, in their branding years ago, didn't they?
They did. There's that series. There's that movie Watcher in the Woods, which just the name of it sounds scary as can be. But yeah, that'd be kind of a fun theme for us to do. Maybe like a Disney themed paranormal
Disney
episode.
pop culture.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, I'll be visiting the different paranormal cartoons on and off to share with you guys. But yeah, to look up The Friendly Ghost by Famous Studios from 1945.
From the opulence and excess of Beverly Hills to luxurious destinations around the globe, it's time to rub shoulders with the privileged and successful among us, as Paranormal Dads now offers you a look into the paranormal lifestyles of the rich and famous.
British rocker David Bowie is known for his eccentric stage presence and maintaining a free spirit while in the public eye. But did you know he claims to have made multiple UFO sightings while growing up in England? As an avid science fiction fan in his early years, Bowie and a group of his friends published a UFO newsletter. Around 1967, Bowie and his pals claimed many sightings of alien craft in the skies. A rock magazine writer at Cream, Bruno Stein, recalled a conversation he had with Bowie in 1975 in which Bowie claimed he and his friends made sightings 6 or 7 times a night for about a year. Said Bowie, "We had regular cruises that came over." The Thin White Duke went on to say in other interviews that the objects moved at a speed at which it was difficult to keep an eye on them. Bowie was a firm believer in extraterrestrials and often expressed his views on the subject in interviews. The UFO phenomena inspired much of Bowie's work, including the 1969 album Space Oddity and his concept album The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, which told the story of a rock star ambassador for ETs who saves the Earth. The name of the band Spiders from Mars is a reference to a mass UFO sighting that allegedly interrupted a soccer game in Florence, Italy on October 27, 1954. The game was stopped as 10,000 spectators witnessed a group of cigar or egg-shaped UFOs appear at high speed before stopping abruptly overhead, dropping a fine silver glitter over the crowd. Some subsequently explained the object as a mass of floating silk from migrating spiders in the upper atmosphere, though many witnesses still swear it was extraterrestrial visitation. While Bowie's musical legacy will live on for the ages, his fascination with aliens and UFOs certainly played a part in inspiring others to explore the mysteries of the universe. I'm Pat with Paranormal Dads, and this has been a Paranormal Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous.
And now it's time for the main mystery.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, for the main mystery today, I almost didn't pick it because it's so dark and it's so scary and it's so unsettling, but I had to go there.
Andy put it out there, man. Good thing we let him with some lightweight stuff.
Yeah.
So if you're squeamish or easily scared, you might just want to fast forward to the end or hit up the next episode. We'll try to keep it as PG as we can and skip over some details, but what I'm referring to is spontaneous human combustion.
Whoa, metal.
SHC.
Next level.
Spinal Tap drummers.
Oh, because they would all catch on fire.
They all blew up.
Yeah, that's true.
They had like 2 or 3 drummers in their band, and they exploded on stage.
Gotta hate when that happens.
Yeah, that's just life.
But I figure if there was ever a time where I was going to pick this as a main mystery, why not August? It's hot. Let's face it.
Very
if you're
hot.
going to burst into flames, it's probably going to be in August.
Yes.
And this is a phenomena that has yet to be fully explained. But it's a phenomena where individuals, for reasons that science can't fully explain, will ignite from the inside out. Unsure of how that can happen, whether it's a chemical reaction in the body or how exactly it works, but an internal fire that starts within the body and pretty much charbroils a person from the inside out. Oftentimes, the person is found reduced to ashes in the same chair that they were sitting in. Strangely enough, a lot of the surrounding things in the area, short of the chair that they're sitting on, is not burned at all.
Right.
So in other words, it was not a house fire. It originated from within the person, and the lamp, the wall, everything around is untouched by flame.
Is that why? Because it starts on the inside of that person?
Because it starts on the inside of the person.
That's so weird.
And it's not because they're chewing on Christmas lights like the cat in Christmas Vacation.
Yes.
But oddly enough, there are some kind of similar characteristics, some correlations from one case to another that they're finding. A lot of these individuals are smokers or were smoking at the time that it occurred. A lot of them were heavy drinkers. And in most cases of spontaneous human combustion, it is a person who has a high fat content, a high body mass index.
Yeah.
You know. And so one of the theories is maybe, I believe they refer to it as the wick effect or the candle effect, almost as the fat inside of the body acts as a fuel source.
Oh, no.
For the flame, however the flame begins. And then, I mean, there's cases and pictures. Please don't look at the pictures if you're squeamish.
Or do.
Yeah. if you want nightmares. But it's pretty disturbing.
Wow. I have read of this. I think I've seen stories of this. There was this, I forgot, was it one of those, like, what was that show that Leonard Nimoy did?
Oh, In Search of.
In Search of, or maybe it was Ripley's Believe It or Not, or one of those things where they talked about human combustion, spontaneous human combustion.
Yeah.
Just fireball.
Yeah, I think there was an episode of In Search of.
Yeah.
Look on YouTube. I bet you can find it.
So that's got to be probably one of the worst ways to go.
I can't really think of a worse way.
That's a spicy meatball.
Now, I wonder if there was any instances of people witnessing this happen.
There actually was. Let's see.
Good setup.
That would be crazy. You're sitting across the table from somebody. All
Hey,
of a
man, how's it
sudden they're
going?
just-
You look a little warm, Kenny.
It's like the scene from Big Trouble in Little China.
turn into the heat miser and just...
I'm Mr. Heat Miser. I'm Mr. Sun.
I'm just thinking about when I was in grade school. I don't know if it was a book from the library or something, but I remember, when I was first reading about this phenomena, and there was a picture of a woman who had, spontaneously combusted. All you see is this pile of ashes and then like a leg coming out of it.
Ooh!
So it was like it wasn't complete.
Yeah.
It was quite graphic, but it was just...
In your school library.
I can't remember where we saw it, but, I was probably, 8 or 9 years old when I saw that picture. And
that's like some Wizard of Oz
I remember
levels.
it to this day.
Feet sticking out.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, the witch.
Yeah. Exactly, right.
You can't unsee it. You know, so careful
Yeah.
if you're going to look up these pictures. First time I ever came across this phenomena, I was about 10 years old. Grabbed one of the weird books off my grandma's bookshelf
That'll
and
do it.
cracked it open. So, same picture, person reduced to ash, pair of feet sitting at the bottom, all nice. But, there is it's funny you mention if there's ever been a witness to this happening. So here's an article I grabbed from mentalfloss.com. There was a lady by the name of Jeannie Saffin. Somebody witnessed her combustion. Jeannie was 61 years old when she died. She had some cognitive limitations, so mentally she was more at the level of about a 6-year-old. But according to her dad, who was 82 at the time, he and Jeannie were both sitting in the kitchen, and he saw a bright surge of light out of the corner of his eye. And he turned to ask his daughter if she had seen it too. But to his amazement, when he turned his head to look at her, she was on fire. And she just sat still with her hands on her lap, and he yanked her over to the sink to try to extinguish some of the flames. And just by touching her, he got severe burns on his hands, like she was that hot already.
Wow.
She
That's
suffered.
heartbreaking.
She suffered it's heartbreaking. She suffered quote unquote full thickness burns on her face, hands, and abdomen. So that means that the skin was burned off all the way down to the subcutaneous fat. And long story short, she didn't make it, but he did. He saw it happen from the
That's got to be
get-go.
horrible. I
That's-
can't imagine.
Wow, I can't believe that. That's one of those things that, and I think for a long time, wasn't it even kind of like disputed? Like, weren't people like, that's not a real thing? Mm-hmm. It doesn't really happen. It's people sleeping in bed with cigarettes. It's other things. It's not what it seems to be. But I mean, it seems like that's more and more the case. Like it is. There's actual eyewitnesses to this thing.
There is, and you know, when there's an instance like that, of course, they bring in the fire marshal or the fire chief to do a thorough investigation, and in many cases, they just can't find the cause of it, and so a lot of times, you know, per the authorities, yeah, they chalk it up to spontaneous human combustion. It's rare, and the stats might differ a little bit depending on where you look up, but I found a website earlier today that said there's at least 200 official documented cases of this worldwide. Wow. Interestingly enough, there was a case of a guy in, oh gosh, I can't remember where it was, but they came in like as he, you know, was melting essentially, and said that the internal temperature of the fire within him was like 3,000 degrees.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Why does it burn so hot?
I don't know.
Because that was my thing. Is like, what makes that to where it gets so stinking hot? That's like an inferno. That's like you could like smelt metal and stuff like that. Like
Right.
that's like a blacksmith style fire.
There's another case here of George Mott of Crown Point, New York. Ironically, was enjoying an episode of The Twilight Zone the night before he burst into flames, and he's said to have remarked, "Nothing weird like that ever happens to me, but I wish it would."
Oh,
Very next night, he catches fire.
famous last words.
The real kicker was he was a retired fireman,
Ooh,
and an ironic twist of fate there.
irony.
Yeah.
Isn't it ironic?
So
I was gonna say that man's on
Don't
fire.
you think?
That man is on fire.
you experienced something similar to spontaneous combustion, didn't you, Eddie, a few months back when you ate that? It was like a ghost pepper chip.
I feel like this is probably the best time to tell a joke. We speaking of internal and of spontaneous human combustion. We at my day job, we had acquired the hottest tortilla chip in the world, and it is coated thick, might I add, in ghost pepper dust, and also not just that, cayenne pepper and habanero pepper. It's not just one pepper. It's like 3 or 4 different. It's a devil blend of peppers. And we as a team were like, we're going to eat these at Christmas. And so we have a Christmas like party / kind of feast with a potluck where we all bring food and hang out. And so we the guys brought these chips, and we had enough for almost everybody on our team, and everybody backed out except for 2. One guy, nicknamed Rocky, so I'm sure he's fine with that. And
I can just picture a guy named Rocky eating a chip like that.
yeah,
Rocky,
hey man,
Rocky will eat anything, man.
hey yo, give me the chip, man, give me the. And so and me, Rocky and me, and we eat the chip. And Rocky is much younger than me. He's in his early 20s. And I'm not. And I've eaten a lot more spicy things. I've had a lot more time to eat more spicy things. This is not a brag. This is just fact. Rocky about died. And it was hot. It was the hottest thing I've ever eaten in my life. But I also kind of like know how to like somehow, if you just keep your cool, pun intended, if you keep your cool, a lot of times if you just let the heat just kind of pass over you, then it won't be as bad. But if you freak out and start like rubbing your face and your eyes and your mouth, you're going to make it worse. You're just going to make it worse. And he was drinking milk, and sometimes that can make it worse. He's spreading it around. Right. Let your saliva do its work. Let it just kind of mush it all up. But it was the hottest thing I've ever eaten. Here's the funny follow-up to that. I won't get into too much specifics. I
was going to say, the next day on the toilet, was it like the devil himself was coming out of
That
you?
man is on fire. That bun is on fire. I was sitting in, I was out with my kids. We were hanging out, and I'm sitting on a bench, and I'm like, I thought that would actually have more of a, and then right then, my stomach was like, it was like a blue whale was on my stomach. And I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And I gingerbread man, like I dare not bend my knees. I was like hopping from one leg to the next, all the way to the portalet, and it was like Dumb and Dumber. Like my leg shot out from under me. It was epic. So sorry, people. Sorry to get that graphic, but it was quite funny. But it was fun to, if you like spicy foods like I do, it's kind of fun to do that every so often.
Makes for a good memory. Do you handle spicy food very well, Pat?
I do pretty good. I can hold my own. I don't know if I've ever gone that extreme.
It's fun.
I've never gone ghost pepper.
Yeah.
But like if we go to like a Thai restaurant, I'll usually
You got 4 star?
4 or 5 stars. Yeah. Out of 5 usually.
You could handle it.
Yeah, I tend to go to the higher
spicy
scale.
realm.
Yeah.
How about you, Andy?
No, I mean, I can handle a little bit of heat, but honestly, nothing in the ballpark of what you guys are talking about. I just like a little bit of spice, a little bit of a kick.
Yeah.
My daughter Sky, on the other hand, I think she's going to be the
Spice
the-
master?
Yeah, she's going to be the spice master of
Likes
the
her hot
family.
tamales.
She does. She likes jalapenos. I
Wow.
mean, she just goes for it. But she's 4, so when she has a fork and she doesn't use it and she uses her hands sometimes, and I always tell her, I'm like, do not touch your eyes until we wash your hands, sweetie. You know.
Right.
But
Yeah, that's bad
Yeah.
news bears.
One time we went to it was a Thai restaurant, and I got a little nervous because I can't remember what the scale was. It might have been like 1 to 10, and I ordered like I don't know, it was 8 or 9, and it made me nervous because the guy who was taking our order, who was obviously probably from Thailand, he kind of looked at me like, "Are you serious? Do you really want to do this?"
Dude, bro.
will you sign this waiver?
And I by then I'd already placed the order, so it's like, oh, I can't back down now. So, but I was a little nervous. He says, "Well," and of course my family was riding me. They're like, "Oh,
You're the man. Do it. Go.
You're not.
You're gonna die.
You better not do that, Dad." And the guy who's taking our order, he's like, "Yeah, I tend to eat on the lower side of things."
I'm a
But
6.
he said actually he was from Thailand because he was telling us when they eat at their village, they're depending on which side of the table you eat at, it's either hotter, spicier, or it's milder.
There's a spicy side and a
there's
mild.
a spicy side and a mild side.
That's like the lunch tables nowadays at school. You have the peanut section and the non-peanut
Exactly.
section, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Those are the spice boys over there.
But long story
how
short,
was it?
I was sweating. I was
Nice.
just dripping by the time I was out of that place. It was hot, but I downed it all.
There you go.
There you go.
The star is not a perfect measurement system. I've
No.
decided.
No, it's all, everybody kind of has their own version of the heat scale,
Yep. One of my secrets is on dishes like that, if you do nuke it by accident, if you squeeze lime juice into it, you can help kind of bring it down a notch.
Tone it down.
Yeah. A little bit
So
of
there you
lime.
go. If you want to prevent spontaneous human combustion, just
them-
squeeze a little lime or lemon in your mouth before bedtime and call it good.
Exactly.
Chug a glass of ice cold milk just to be sure.
Mow down a lime. You'll never get scurvy again.
We've totally gone off the rails on this one, haven't we?
I think we had to because it was so
But
dark.
yeah,
I
it
think
was pretty dark.
it needed to happen. And that, with that kind of thing, it's just such a, it's super rare. Like
Super rare.
you said. So
Yeah.
probably nothing to be afraid of.
Don't worry, kids. You're not going to explode or anything.
Yeah.
Unless you eat the ghost pepper chip that Eddie ate.
You probably have a better chance of burning yourself with a ghost pepper chip than
Yeah.
you do spontaneously combusting.
Or don't become a drummer for Spinal Tap.
This is true.
Well, I think that about does it for this episode, guys. What do you think? Good to be back. Good to have all 3 of us back.
Hey,
I
it's,
agree.
it's so good to have Andy back. It's good to get the 3 of us back together because, like Andy said, there was a time I wasn't here, and then Andy wasn't here for a while, and it's been a while, but it's good to get the trifecta going again, and
Just get things
looking
back.
forward to doing some good things.
I'm excited for this. Like Andy had alluded, we're going to be doing some fun stuff. Stay tuned also for maybe some fireside chats from the Paranormal Dads, a special like nighttime campfire episode.
Well, fall is on the horizon, so we have to, right? Fall's the time for campfires and bonfires.
Absolutely. And thanks to all of our friends at freesounds.org for providing the special effects and sounds that you hear through this episode. Thank you for posting on Facebook. We've had some great posts.
Yes.
Twitter, Instagram, all kinds of great comments, and we
yeah.
appreciate hearing from everybody.
Great feedback from everybody. Thank you for your personal messages to us. Also, quick little plug, we have plenty of Paranormal Dad stickers still. So like I had said, I put a PayPal link up on our Twitter. I'll repost that. So for anybody who wants a Paranormal Dad sticker, PayPal that link, $1, just so I can send these things to you.
And it's great. You slap it on your computer and
Yeah. Yep, they're vinyl stickers. They go great on laptops. They look cool. They're full color. They're our logo of Andy being brave and me and Pat losing our minds as Bigfoot is figuring out what the heck's going on behind us. Special thanks to Tony Ferguson for that image too, by the way.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, we'll have another great episode ready for you next time on episode 20 Deuce. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.
We are recording.
We're hot.
We are hot.
Levels are good.
Of course we're hot.
Stage is set. The wings have been eaten.
We got the dad bods.
Dad
bods
Dude,
plenty.
Of course we're hot,
I'm
dude.
embracing the dad bod on a level I probably
You got to own it, because really, if you think about it, the hotness is all about confidence. You can have a gut, you just own it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
If you look insecure about the whole mess, it's just not going to work for you.
What I hate is when guys like trim their chest hair.
Yeah.
There's this guy on The Bachelor. He's like this model.
Why would you do that?
But he trims his chest hair. It's like, cut it all off.
Right.
Carve a
own
pine
it,
tree
dude.
into that thing? Or
Yeah, pick one, dude.
All right.
You know what we should do is do some sort of dare or bet, and whoever loses has to shave a Bigfoot into his chest hair.
I mean, unless you have total cover. I think Pat's the hairiest of all of us.
Oh, man.
I don't have that much.
I got some going on.
I got a little guy.
I got a front and back canvas.
Nice. Fun fact, mine's in the shape of like an eagle. I'm not kidding you. It's
God,
like
you're so patriotic,
it's
dude.
like a Batman crest on my chest. Exactly. Marco.
We digress.
Okay, now I'm going to Oh, you know what? I want to change folders here.
And the land is now.